I was thinking about, what could we spend a couple minutes on, and that you would share in a place that is not being censored at all. I think it's encouragement, right? I mean, that's the main thing that in a way needs to be spread so that people aren't shut down by the assault that's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I think that's really important, you're talking about creating new networks and things like that, is the whole looking at guidance from the negative side, which I think is there. The fact that they're using money to keep everybody enslaved right now is good guidance, because if we have an alternative system somehow so that people can work at not something they hate, which the vast majority are doing right now, that are even able to work. There have been polls that show that 90-something% of the people in America hate their job. This was back when they used to have jobs and stuff like that. But there needs to be a way that people can combine sustaining themselves and their families and making a living with what they love. And I'm just wondering if you've gotten any insights into how we might get closer to that.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that I want my company to thrive so that I can have sales reps all over the place. I mean, these phone bags alone, I think that every town out there has a shop. I mean, I know Sedona probably has like a dozen shops that would carry this kind of thing, but a network marketing thing in that regard. But also, we really need to figure out how to create our own stuff nowadays. The brick and mortar seems to be under attack, So people out there, the media world needs you as far as like ghostwriting books or helping with. I mean, some people need to even have the wherewithal to switch careers, and I know that's scary. I mean, it's so many different things though, because there's like you have to get a vaccine to work in this industry, and either the universe or God wants to challenge you here, or you've been set up randomly and you're blessed. But either way, it's a challenge, makes you stronger, or you're in the right situation. I'm very thankful that my mom actually does online teaching, so they're not going to come down and try to get her to get vaccinated in that regard. But for people out there, I really have thought about this a lot, and it breaks my heart to see like single moms out there that don't even know what to do with their kids because they don't want to put them into public school. But what I'm witnessing where I'm at in Ashland, Oregon, is the creation of a new world. There's these new rogue underground schools sprouting up where people are figuring it out on their own. And there's like 20 people in each school, and they're not wearing masks, and they're doing their own thing because they're not going to live by this new government disorder.
Are you talking about a school for young kids?
Yeah, because the schools are all shut, and then you have to go to school wearing a mask and all these things.
I know. Yeah.
And so people are creating their own thing. So my biggest advice is to don't be afraid of creating your own thing. And so many obstacles and so many fears, and so there's so much that can get in the way of you getting in the way of yourself. But if you haven't written that book that you want to get out there, or you haven't made that music that you want to get out there and stuff, like now is the time. Like there's no better time. And okay, maybe you are worried about money.
Mm-hmm.
Then it seems like that you have to adjust and I mean, teaching online is something, or there's a new world being created, more hands-on. Like, I mean, there's career decisions that have to be made. This is quite obvious. And if I was in the shoes of certain people, I would see the writing on the wall, and I would be like, well, I can't work for the airline industry anymore because they're going to be forcing me to get a Johnson & Johnson shot every 6 months or whatever to alter my DNA. You're just faced with these decisions. But it's empowering to just take life by the reins and figure it out and dismantle your old way of viewing the world and evolving. So I don't want to say that you get a job in front of the computer. I want to say create a new world. My grocery stores want me to wear 2 masks now. And eventually they're going to say, where's your vaccine certificate? And I know a lot of people that are going to say, how the heck am I going to get food? Well, if you're in a position to start your own little grocery store out of your garage or something like that, guess what? If you build it, they will come, you know?
Especially now. That's really true.
Yeah, Kevin Costner, Field of Dreams. He builds the baseball field and these ghosts come and play baseball in his backyard.
Yeah.
But really, seriously, though, we have to set aside fear and trust that even your neighbor who you didn't even think was on the same page as you is actually sick of wearing the mask and doesn't want to do it and would love to collaborate with you on a farm share thing or whatever. I mean, people, like, we're going to be forced into maybe even more of having to figure it out. So why not get your hands dirty now? Right. I love the idea of these community shared agriculture things where like one person in the neighborhood will grow the potatoes, one person will grow the onions, one person the carrots, and they share. You know, these comings togethers of the communities have to happen. The childcare stuff has to happen. I mean, if I was, so if I didn't have a job right now, I would be trying to figure out how to become a childcare provider. And I would be helping all of these single moms. The local school district, they decided, we're going back to school. They go and pick up the schools in the school. They pick up the kids in the school bus at 8:30 or something. They drop them off at 10:30. At home, they come filing off the buses at 10:30 a.m. with masks, medical masks on the children. So what are the parents to do? You know, there's a lot of opportunity. This is the land of opportunity, and entrepreneurialism is where it's at right now, because guess what? There's so much more opportunity now than ever because we're all having to adjust to a new world.
That's nobody wants how it was when the country was started, at least with America. Almost everybody was thinking of what to create on their own. Farms or machine shops or, you know, service businesses, or be part of a community homeschool, you know, in a single room schoolhouse, or whatever was valuable that you were good at or could become good at.
Personally, I've been trying to go into my world and just find practitioners or what have you that won't make me wear a mask or eventually make me get vaccinated. And just offering those services and having the trust and a little wherewithal. I mean, you can't just expect it to all of a sudden happen, but if you give it some thought and have a little hope, you can do it. You know, that new career change is just waiting for you, and the demand is there. Like I said, there's so many parents out there wondering what they can do for childcare, and some people are still COVID crazy, and they don't want to go put their kids in some weird childcare, but they also don't want their kids wearing a mask. You know, they want to find a balance there.
If they did a COVID test at a school where your kids are sent to now, at a public school, and they, you know, you set these tests for positive or negative, they're not real tests, and they decided for some reason to set it for positive, they could take those kids away and the parents wouldn't even know where they were for weeks. And that, I don't think that's a very good risk to take with your kids, right?
No. So that's the new weird dystopia we're in. So literally, that's not going to work. So what's going to happen? Maybe we can create our own little schools. I love the idea of creating a farm school. I was really deep into that for a little while in the last community that I lived in, and I'm still actually kind of on the cusp of that with these newer schools where it's all like this work in progress. This is the first time this community's ever done that. And so I'm witnessing a couple of them sprout together and maybe merge and stuff like that. But just think about this. The physical education, the sports, children playing sports has been eradicated, at least from the state that I live in.
Yeah.
There's no PE. There's nothing like that. So the drive from the children that has been there the whole time, and they're raised like that with this competition, you know, this competitive nature. If that is just immediately taken from the children, it's our moral obligation to offer something so that they can still have that spirit and that drive, that camaraderie, that everything. I had a close friend, he ended up in South Africa working for this Playing for Peace. It's called Peace Players now, but it's a nonprofit, and they teach kids to play basketball and set aside their racial differences. And in South Africa, you're black, you're white, or you're in between, you're brown. There's 3 races. And these 3 races, as children, learned amazing things like screw racism, and they came together and developed these amazing skills just through a sport. We cannot take that away from the world. It's up to us to provide that. So if you know how to dribble a basketball or you know how to play tennis, you can literally create something for your community that's necessary, that's needed. I mean, supply demand. I mean, like, do a little research on economics if you don't know about these things, and if you don't know about elasticity of demand and all that sort of stuff. But you could actually charge a decent rate to have kids learn how to play soccer. And wow, that's like not reinventing the wheel. It's like, that's human nature to play a game together. So
yeah, I think it's an incredible idea. The nature environment and the moving, not having to sit still at a desk. It's not even good for old people and adults and everything.
Certainly not.
So, okay, neat. Hold on and we'll say goodbye in the break again here.